Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2025 Lexus IS500 F Sport Performance. This model is finished off in incognito, and the MSRP is just over $69,000. We have a lot to go over for this luxury and performance sedan, and we'll start off underneath the hood where this has that naturally aspirated 5-liter V8. This is paired to an 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 472 horsepower, 395 pound-feet of torque. It is rear-wheel drive. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds with a top speed of 150 miles an hour. And as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 17 in the city and 25 out on the highway. Now with this particular IS model, you'll notice a lot of gloss black accents. There's also the Lexus badge, which is the sensor for distance pacing, forward-facing camera above that. There's the hourglass design for this grille, along with some parking sensors that are incorporated, large inlets in the lower section, more gloss black trim accents, and then a dark housing for all of the LEDs. You'll notice that triple beam design and then the iconic DRL strip. And then very nice lines coming down the hood, flowing nicely with that grille. Now this model also has the upgraded 19-inch BBS wheels, finished off in gloss black, matches the brake calipers very nicely. There's a dark F Sport badge, more gloss black for the lower side skirt. It's also on the power folding side mirrors with a camera and a turn signal. There's some dark chrome trim accents surrounding the window trim, and then a sunroof up top. Very crisp lines too in the lower section of the doors there, and then leading to the back where there's a gloss black spoiler. There's also a dark housing for all the LEDs with the connector bar, backup camera, all the parking sensors, that stacked dual exhaust on both sides, and then some fins in the lower section where that entire bumper is finished off in gloss black, as you can tell. Now there's also a subtle F Sport logo, and then you have the release underneath, or you can use the key fob, of course, where you have a good bit of space in the cargo space. You can fold down the back seats, and this model even has a spare. So up underneath, you could maybe use this for extra storage, but it's mainly for the spare and all of those components. You have one grab handle on that right side. It's a very light trunk, so it's easy to close. Now, as we work our way to the interior, this model has a really nice design with a two-tone look. There's some brushed accents surrounding the window control there. And then you have a release by the headrest to fold the seat down, where there is a little bit of a step up there, but you still have access to put in some items. And then at 5'10", there's still a good bit of space here. This seat can be moved forwards, but you have storage pockets. You do get vents, which is nice. You get cup holders that come out of the armrest there. And then I'm just barely touching the headliner, so I could sit up and be comfortable. It's a little bit tight, but it is doable for adults. Up front, you'll notice memory seating adjustments, the window controls. You also have your mirror adjustments, lock and unlock, and then you get storage pockets up front. And then the automatic front seats here, which have a really nice design to them. So let's start this up. We're greeted with the solid and perforated leather steering wheel with paddle shifters on both sides. This is also automatic, so you can use those adjustments as needed. Cruise controls on the lower right there. You also have your lane keeping assist, distance pacing, and then you have controls where you can go through the gauge cluster. So you have some information that you can pull up within it, where you'll notice everything else is going to stay fixed. However, you can also shift the tack to the right and get through a lot more information. So you can go through all of these standard safety features, turning them on and off, and then you can get into some of the information that I just showed within the tack there. You do have a little bit more that you can go through, and then you can scroll through the rest of this information as needed. Now on the left side, there's volume and tuning, then you have voice commands and a Bluetooth controls. Now to the right, there's an odometer adjustment. You also have the in-cabin exhaust that you can turn on and off. So you can have that as needed, which is neat. Now there's also a rear sunshade. You have automatic high beams, and then the view button will bring up 2 different camera angles that you can go through here, just depending on what you would like to see around the vehicle. Now there's also some leather for the gauge cluster cover there. And then with the rest of this screen, for this current layout, you can also pull up information on the right side, so you can have that split view. And then you can also use the trackpad down below to further get through this. So you can go into menu where you can pair your phone, you can get into setup, so that way you can get through all this information and adjust it as needed. You can get into your climates too, which is very helpful, so you can view it on the screen there. And then you have a few others, and again, you can use that pad to quickly go through it, and then you can easily get back into the map. Now underneath that, there's vents along with a clock in the middle, and then you have some physical controls for your climates as well. So you can use them down below, along with where you'd like the air to go and all of that. Now there's power and tuning, CD player in the middle with those controls. This also comes with heated and ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel too, and then you have a few different driving modes that you can get into. So you'll notice the tack will change depending on the mode that you enter. And then there's the snow mode, traction control, your auto hold. If you put it into reverse, you have the backup camera with those two different angles and the guidelines. And then when you put it into drive, you can have it set on automatic. So it will automatically pull up at slower speeds, and that way you can view what is in front of you. Now you can shift using the shifter or those paddle shifters. You get cup holders, auxiliaries, and some storage in the armrest, along with a locking glove box. And then there's garage door buttons up top, you have dome lights, and then controls for the sunroof. And then here's a look at visibility. You have thin pillars in the back, so it's very easy to see over both shoulders. And then in Sport S Plus from second gear, here we go. And just a minor acceleration, again, it will get up and move. And again, in those higher RPM ranges, the shifts are much quicker and it gets a little bit more responsive. So there is a range in the responsiveness that you get from this, which just adds a little bit to the driver engagement, really. Depending on how you're driving it, you can get that feedback from this model. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the IS500. And it has a really nice design and layout to it. It's still interesting to see a CD player for this 25-year model. Lexus has discontinued that in some of their models and keeping it in some, as you can tell. Not exactly sure the reasoning behind that, but aside from that, everything else is very easy to use. So if you're looking for a performance-oriented and luxury-focused sedan, but you don't want a million different things to go through, this is super easy to use. You can pair your phone to the system, and that's really all you need today. Everything is on your phone, so it can go right to the screen, and then everything is laid out well, especially with the physical controls. That is something in today's world where a lot of vehicles are going to everything being integrated into the screen. This model has physical buttons down below where you can easily reach them and go through all that information. So I know a lot of people not only like the engine that this has to offer, but they will like all of those controls and the ease of use. So let's give it another small acceleration for what we can do here. It sounds good too, especially when you rip on it and get into the higher RPM range. And then of course, if you wanted it louder, you could put on a different exhaust. I personally think it would be nice for this model to either have a louder exhaust option or to have an active exhaust where you can toggle between those settings. There's other competitors and other brands that offer exhaust systems like that. So it would be nice to see that. But again, something that would be a little bit more, I guess, complicated, you could say, in the long run, where this is just the basics, but also something that is going to be reliable and fun to drive on a daily basis. So that is going to wrap it up for the 2025 Lexus IS500. Check out the track impressions video so you can get a better idea of the performance that this car truly has in the stock form. And once again, huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I'll see you all in the next video.